This is Kevin Game with Team Losi Racing. I'm with the category manager for TLR, Todd Hodge. We're here to talk about the new TLR 22.4, and Todd's going to show us a couple things about
There's
the
a lot of
ride.
preconceptions out there that you need to run the ride height pretty level with this car, based off of a lot of the people racing, obviously two-wheel drive buggy. We've found that you actually gain a lot of steering by actually running some downward rake in the front of the car. So essentially the rear of the chassis higher and the front of the chassis lower. Over the weekend, at the Reedy race, I ran a 23 millimeter ride height in the back and a 19 millimeter ride height in the front. Now the front ride height you could range anywhere probably from 18 millimeters to about 21 millimeters, and then the back is right around 21 to 24 millimeters. So whenever you're running basically the forward rake of the chassis, you're just going to have more off-power steering in the car, and also a little bit more on-power steering as you exit the turn. So here today I'm just going to show you how we set the ride height on the 22.4. It's simply done just like your two-wheel. Take it about 6 inches off the ground, drop it, let the suspension settle. Running that downward front rake chassis rake is allowing the car just to gain more steering on and off power. So here we're going to show you where we actually measure it from, which is right there, basically right under the slipper shaft. So we're at 19 millimeters there. Now going to the back, again, forward rake in the chassis. So we're going to drop it from a few inches, adjust this to 23. And we're a little low, so obviously we've got to give a little bit more preload to the shock collars. Drop again to settle it. And there you have it. So right about the center, right under the center diff is where we measure the rear ride height. And again, that was at 23 millimeters at the Reedy race. Obviously, depending on the track conditions, will dictate what you need out of the car, whether it's more steering, less steering. If you need less steering, obviously you could run the front ride height a little higher. More steering, run the front ride height a little lower. If you're running on a really high grip track, you might want to just try the whole car a little bit lower to let the chassis get down into the track. If you're running on a low bite track, you could run the chassis up a little bit higher as far as the ride height goes to have a little bit more traction.
So there you have it. Ride height on the 22.4, a little bit different than the 22. We want to thank Todd Hodge for coming by and showing us the proper way to set the ride height. I know that's one of the most important things, bone angles and different stuff all come into play with the ride height. So thank you for doing that. And stay tuned. At the end of the video, be sure to subscribe to the Team Losi Racing YouTube channel. And the next video we have up, I believe, is going to be checking your slipper and diff settings with Todd Hodge as well. So thank you.